Hey guys, before I start the show, I want to tell you all about a new company that I just launched that I'm super excited about. It's called breakparallel.com. I have teamed up with a friend and partner of mine named Jarrett Scheinman to create a website that pulls together all the best functional fitness content from the web. So that means dope photo galleries. It also means videos of your favorite athletes from the coolest companies in the industry. And it means that you guys now have one place to go to find all the cool, entertaining content that you want from the functional fitness world. No more clicking around on a million Instagram profiles, no more searching through a bunch of Facebook pages, and no more bookmarking 55 different websites. All you got to do is bookmark breakparallel.com, check back there every day, and we have you covered. Welcome to another episode of the Expansion Project Podcast. I am your host, Fat Tony, and on this show I have casual yet deep conversations with professional athletes, entrepreneurs, coaches, investors, authors, bloggers, musicians, and anybody else that I find to be successful. Now, success can be measured in a number of different ways, so this runs the gamut here on the show, but the hope is that I will expand my mind with these conversations and your mind. And I hope to motivate and inspire people along the way. My guest today is Ed Bauer, who is basically the poster boy for vegan CrossFitters. And a cool side note, he's also Straightedge, which means he has committed his life to living a drug-free lifestyle, which is something I did at the age of 15. So it's really cool for me to talk to somebody that is a Straightedge vegan CrossFitter like myself. Now, Ed is the owner of PlantFit Strength and Conditioning, which is a gym in Oakland, California. He is a CrossFit coach. He is a certified fitness nutrition coach. He is a vegan bodybuilder with lots of titles under his belt. He's done fitness modeling, and his philosophy is that he's constantly showing that strength through compassion makes a better world for all. Before I welcome my guest, I want to get a few things out of the way first. Thank you guys all for the great feedback on the show. It's been really, really amazing, and it keeps pouring in my inbox and my social networks and stuff. Also, thank you guys for sharing and telling friends about the show, because right now that's the only marketing and promotion we have. So that really helps us out. Another big thank you to everybody that's left 5-star ratings on iTunes, and to those of you guys who left reviews. We had a guy by the name of NMBOKAAA on iTunes. He wrote a review that said, listening to childhood and present-day heroes is very intriguing. And the interviews with the guys I'm unfamiliar with provide insight. I find it very enjoyable to listen while working out or on a bike ride or doing a mellow workout or even just decompressing, hanging out on the couch. Keep up the great work, Fat. So thank you to NMBOKAAA. That really means a lot. And of course, these reviews are not just stroking my ego. They actually do help other people find and discover the show, which helps spread that motivation and inspiration along the way as well. One more reminder, please guys go to theexpansionprojectpodcast.com and click on the affiliate links on the right side of the page. When you guys buy stuff through those links, it helps out the show. One of the most important ones would be NutriSumma.com. If you use the promo code FATTONY1, you can get 20% off all your supplements and vegan protein. Now, I'm going to welcome my guest. Ed, thanks for hanging in there while I get through my announcements and everything. So welcome to the show. I appreciate you taking the time today. Absolutely. Thank you. So let's get a little bit of the basics out of the way first. I know this has been brought up in every interview, but you and I have never really had too many conversations. So let's kind of intro me and our listeners to who you are. So tell me a little bit about your background with fitness and veganism and kind of how that ties in together.
Okay. So I kind of grew up skateboarding. I got into skateboarding about the age of 10. So around the age of 12, 13, I started realizing some of the kids I was skateboarding with were straight edge and vegan. So I was kind of curious about that lifestyle. I knew that drugs weren't something I wanted to be a part of, so I committed to being straight edge in 1995, so 15 years old, and started looking into animal rights. And I always felt there was something wrong with like taking an animal's life just for food, because obviously there's other choices out there. So I read Diet for a New America by John Robbins, and I've been completely vegan since March 1996, so coming up on 20 years.
Wow. So how old are you now?
Yeah, so it started back then kind of through my friends in skateboarding. And around that same time, my dad was a competitive powerlifter. So he did like bench press competitions and things like that. So I got into weightlifting around the same time that I went straight edge and got into veganism. So kind of always stayed active with weightlifting. Graduated in 2001 with a graphic design degree. Did that for a couple of years. I started Motive Company, which was this clothing company, for a while. And then through my early 20s, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. So around the age of 25, 26, I got a job at the front desk at a small gym in North Carolina. So started selling memberships and all that stuff, and started helping people with their technique. And then I realized there was a need for proper coaching and movements for exercise. So then I got certified through AFAA and worked at a few more gyms, got more certifications. So basically worked at 24 Hour Fitness for about 2.5 years as a personal trainer. Did my first bodybuilding show 2010, got into CrossFit 2011, and it's just kind of been continuing since then.
Nice. So there seems to be even a little bit more similarities between you and me than I originally thought, actually. It seems like our lives are very similar, except you started maybe 5 years or so before I did, because I also have a degree in graphic design, which is another similarity that I didn't realize that we had. And
Sure.
I kind of did the same thing. Like I was 15 years old and found kind of the straight edge movement and stuff. I didn't get into veganism until much later, but that's pretty cool. So you mentioned North Carolina. I know that your gym at one point was in Portland, and now your gym is in Oakland, California, so the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that moving around that you did throughout your life.
Yeah. So I grew up I'm from Albany, New York. And I grew up there for the most part, but then my family moved to Carolina Beach, North Carolina, when I was about 8 years old. About 4 years later, my parents split up, and then my mom moved back up to New York. So I kind of bounced back and forth in between New York and North Carolina. And in New York, it was Albany, but I was like pretty close to Syracuse and New York City. So I was mostly influenced by the hardcore scene in upstate New York and New York City. So then I went to college in North Carolina and just kind of went back and forth. And just when I got older, I realized I didn't want to live in either of those places anymore, and kind of made my way out to the West Coast and eventually found Portland, and then eventually found Oakland.
Nice. Was it difficult for you kind of being that age with your parents separating and having to sort of bounce back and forth between the two states?
For me, I thought it was kind of fun.
Really?
I meant to have two homes, and it was kind of like a vacation home, like North Carolina. And so no, I kind of just took it as a good thing and just used it as an opportunity to see like the differences between different cities and locations. And that's what really got me interested in learning about more places and moving around more.
Yeah, totally. That makes a lot of sense. And it's cool that you were able to take that positive away from it and to see that, exploring other places is a good thing. I don't know about you. You said Syracuse is where you kind of grew up?
Albany.
So I don't know if that's necessarily a small town, but I grew up in a small town, and thankfully my parents took us on trips and stuff, so I got to explore a little bit, and just seeing those places early on is kind of what helped me realize that the world is a bigger place,
Yeah.
So what made you move from Portland down to Oakland then?
Yeah, so when I moved to Portland, the things that pulled me to that city was the vegan community and just the scene there. And I really do consider that pretty much the most vegan-friendly place in the country per capita. There's just, for the amount of people, there's just so many vegan restaurants and like good places to eat, and like they have the vegan mini mall. So it just had a lot of appeal for that reason, but also it was close to the ocean. It was very pedestrian-friendly and bike-friendly. The city is laid out very well and it's very easy to get around. So that was a real appeal. So I moved out there in 2008, and just basically after about 2 or 3 years, I realized that I was starting to get affected by the weather. And it doesn't necessarily rain a lot, but it is overcast a lot. So just the sun doesn't really shine, and it started kind of bumming me out. So I started looking for another place to move. And my partner, Holly, I met her because she had a show called The Vegan Shortcake, veganshortcake.com, an online video show. And she actually interviewed me for, I think, the second episode because I opened up, the gym in Portland. So that's how we actually met. And then we ended up getting together about a year later. And then she moved back to San Francisco area. And when I was looking for a new place to live and I was dating her here, it just kind of made sense for me to move down to the Bay Area myself.
Cool. So can you tell me kind of your current philosophy on and fitness and nutrition? And I know that's a very broad question, but if you were to kind of meet somebody new and tell them what you're all about in a few sentences based on health and nutrition or your fitness modalities, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I basically I want to show people that you can eat fully plant-based and be healthy and strong. And what that really means is like when started being into fitness at 15, went vegan at 16. So I kind of picked up both at the same time. And my early approach to that was simply just taking the suggested kind of meal plan or kind of structure of nutrition for like bodybuilding and just switch it to a vegan friendly kind of program. So if something said to eat chicken and rice, then I would eat tofu and rice. If it said to eat, a bunch of hamburger and sweet potatoes, then I would eat tempeh and sweet potatoes. Or, if it said whey protein, I would just get rice protein, and just made kind of simple transitions like that. And but basically, I just want to show people that plant protein is easier for your body to assimilate, and it's going to be less damaging in the long run as well. So that's the primary thing is from an ethical standpoint. I want to show people that they can live this way and be healthy and be considerate of other living creatures in the world. But also, I do want to promote that it's a healthier way to live.
Cool. So as a vegan athlete, I'm sure you get asked this all the time. Where do you get your protein? So when people ask you that, what do you tell them? What's your answer to that question?
Yeah, I pretty much just say, I don't know. I like the long list. So like any, black beans, chickpeas, garbanzo beans, pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds, peanut butter, almond butter, rice protein, pea protein, tempeh, tofu, seitan. It's a pretty long list. And then if you want to say greens and things like that, the point is it's pretty much in all food. Beans, rice, nuts, seeds, and legumes. So
cool. Okay. So do you feel like there are more vegan athletes these days? Because obviously there's the social media aspect of everything now. So I'm curious, does it seem like nowadays people can just get connected and see that there's other people out there more? Or is that kind of community actually growing?
Yeah, I think it's way easier. I think there's a lot more people doing it now, especially since social media. Like for me, I felt confident in I'm completely committed to being vegan, right, for ethical reasons. And I've been that way for a long time. And when I had a fitness goal, I considered it a challenge to show the world that you can be successful in fitness on a vegan diet. And then I found, I came across Robert Cheek in the MySpace days, right, because he had vegan bodybuilding as his name. And I really thought, wow, there's somebody else that's vegan and into bodybuilding. So then I found veganbodybuilding.com. I actually met up with Robert. I started working at the same gym that he was training at. So then, so it kind of all started there. Then talking to him, then I competed in my first bodybuilding competition and kind of got the ball rolling. But I've only been on Instagram like probably less than 2 years. But just since, it just seems like, and with the Plant Built team, do you keep up with that as well?
I don't. I was going to ask you about that though. So
okay, yeah, we'll talk about that more. But that's been that was formed about 3 years ago, and it just seems like out of the woodwork. There's just more vegan bodybuilders, more vegan CrossFit athletes, more vegan fitness competitors, more vegan fitness personal trainers, and I think social media has a huge part to do with that because it shows people that you can do it successfully.
Yeah. So I was going to ask that later on, but since you brought it up, let's go ahead and talk about that. So what is the Plant Built team, and how are you involved with that?
Sure. That was a team created by Giacomo Marchese and Danny Taylor. They're the couple that own veganproteins.com. But what they wanted to do is there's always athletes competing on individual shows across the country and across the world. So what they wanted to do is get a big group of vegan athletes to compete together at one event to really make a strong stand for animals and for veganism. So we started in 2013, and I think we had about 12 athletes, and I competed in men's physique that year. And we basically just went into the show in Austin, Texas, and we had, again, 14 athletes out of like 150 for the entire show, and we took home like like 40% of the trophies. We did like really well. I placed second in a division of 24 people. A lot of people took first place. Torrey Washington, he's a really good athlete, but he won first place in that show as well. Eventually got his pro card. Derek Treesize was there. Chad Byers, Mindy Collette, just a bunch of well-known athletes. So that happened in 2013. 2014 was the second year. We had about 30 athletes. I competed in CrossFit that year. And so again, another good showing. We competed in Austin again. And then this year was 2015. I decided to take this year off just to kind of focus on my powerlifting goals. But my partner, Holly, she competed in powerlifting. And I think the team had about 45 vegan athletes. So over the course of the last 3 years, it's just been growing. And but yeah, it's just a team that was organized to show that vegans can succeed in fitness.
Awesome. Very cool. So let's see, going back to my notes here. Okay, so going back to you kind of working in gyms and stuff, you said you started out just at the front desk and then you started working in other gyms and whatnot. At what point did you decide that you wanted to kind of get, either certifications or credentials, so to speak? And then at what point after that did you actually want to open a gym?
Yeah, so that the opening a gym was kind of like, I feel like anybody who's passionate about, some kind of profession eventually wants to open their own business. So I started, I got certified in 2006 because I realized that there was a need for personal trainers. So I got into that, and I chose it because fitness is fun. Like, it feels good to me. It feels good to help other people out. And I really just like that connection of being in like a positive environment and trying to like expand that. And with graphic design, I felt like I worked for this company and I felt like they wanted me to be creative all 8 hours a day or whatever. And just my brain doesn't work like that. Mm-hmm. I'm very mathematical and just methodical. And fitness really works for that because, like, in terms of with personal training, it's about proper movements and functionality of position. So it's very easy for my mind to like take that and just make sure that people are working in a safe manner and, just kind of get people like pushing themselves. And it's just really inspiring. So I got into that. And then since 2006, I just got more certifications and it just kind of keeps expanding from there.
So when you decided to open the own gym, you said it was basically because you were passionate about something. Were you an entrepreneurial type of person before that, or was the business spawned solely from the passion for the
I would say kind of entrepreneurial. Again, the only company I opened up when I was younger, I did a t-shirt company called Motive Company, and we made like vegan and Straightedge shirts out of upstate New York. And that company's still going, but I since left the company. I just, kind of lost passion at it at that time. But with personal training, so when I moved to Portland, I started working at 24 Hour Fitness, and I just really want to get my experience up. But 24 Hour Fitness is like the McDonald's of fitness. Mm-hmm. I just felt foolish putting on that shirt and giving them like 70% of my money that I was earning. So I knew that it was just a time for me to like open my own business. Mm-hmm. So actually what I did, I was decent friends with the people who own Food Fight, the grocery store in Portland, and they had a mail order warehouse behind the storefront. So I asked them if I could just take a corner of the warehouse and open up a vegan gym. And they were like, yeah, sure, that sounds cool. So I sold my car. I had a Honda Civic sold for $3,500, and that was all the money I had. I took that, just bought enough equipment to start training people, started just one-on-one, and then got into CrossFit and got my level 1 certificate, and started doing small group classes, like 3 to 5 people. And then just from there, I was able to build up the business more. And so again, it started very small, just with like the money I had from selling a car, and I was able to expand it just based on the success of the business.
That's awesome, man. And I say this pretty much every time I jump on an interview with somebody, but these are the types of conversations why I wanted to start a podcast, because I want to hear these type of stories and I want to share these type of stories, because unless you have a conversation like this, it's very difficult to uncover that type of thing, of just that determination and that resiliency and just that, hit the grindstone type of mentality that you had when you were like, okay, don't want to put on this shirt anymore. I don't want to work at the McDonalds of Fitness. I want to do my own thing. And you were, willing to do anything and everything, and you did everything that you could to make that happen. Can you explain a little bit more of that statement of the McDonald's of Fitness, like why you kind of view 24-hour fitness as such? And also maybe as a part two to that, can you maybe talk to the point of how that type of experience, was beneficial to you, if it was, in order to kind of get to where you're at?
Yeah, it was very beneficial because I got a chance to work with a lot of clients. And what I mean by just saying it's McDonald's of Fitness is they seem to hire almost anybody. So the quality is just not there for who works for the company. And just too often you would just see new trainers come in and they'd stay there for about a month or 2 months, and then they'd quit because they just weren't really into it. And over the course of 2.5 years, there was only 3 other trainers that were there longer than me.
Wow.
They were really good trainers, but most people, their heart's not into it. And I always talked about it. It's like, that's what I want to do when I grow up, is be a personal trainer. So I was really serious about it. And again, when I did bodybuilding and I got first place my first competition, so what that did, that definitely boosted my confidence, and that made me, it just kind of showed me that I can do what I, put my mind to. And when it was time to open a business, I mean, I had no doubts about it. I knew that I just had to go for it. So
awesome. So kind of talking a bit more about the business here, your current gym, PlantFit in Oakland, you have not affiliated with CrossFit headquarters. Can you talk about why you made that decision to not become an affiliate?
I made that decision because, I definitely am a big promoter of CrossFit. But the reason I didn't want to affiliate is because I feel like I want to promote, or I want to appeal to the vegan community more. And I don't feel the need. I don't feel the need to market and get more business through being a CrossFit affiliate. I'd rather just kind of start smaller in Oakland and just kind of build up more organically, and really just make sure that I'm promoting, like a plant-based approach to fitness. More so. I could see maybe affiliating in the future, but for the time, I don't think it's necessary for where our business is.
Okay. So speaking of that marketing, talk to me about specific marketing tactics of a business. So I want to know, what is the most effective method that you've used or implemented in your business to do marketing for the company that's taking the least amount of time or money or effort on your part? Yeah,
in terms of marketing, the least amount of effort and most effective I can do is just provide a really good service for the people that are coming here. And word of mouth I find to be the most effective for building this type of business.
And so when you say word of mouth, obviously, if you provide a good service, people will naturally talk about it. But is that something that you directly ask your members for, of like, hey, if you guys like what you're receiving,
hold on one second. My girlfriend's pulling out. It's a little hard to hear from the car.
Okay, no worries.
Okay. Say that one more time.
Yeah. So when you're talking about this word of mouth, is that something that you directly ask your customers and your patrons and your members to do for you?
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll basically give them 30% off of next month if they get a friend to sign up.
Cool. Okay.
So it's a kind of win for them, and it's a win for their friend as well, and they get to have more friends as they work out, and
cool.
Just kind of build up that way.
Very cool. So this is your second gym now. You opened the one in Portland, and you kind of moved locations down to the Bay Area. What was the most difficult thing about opening your original gym, and was it much easier the second time when you moved locations, and was there some learning process along the way that really helped you for the second one?
Yeah. The most difficult thing, I think, was getting known when I was in Portland. And, anything I do in terms of like promoting fitness through my own competitions and own achievements, I think all that stuff helps because it's kind of marketing. I'm kind of the brand of PlantFit. So once I opened that business and started building it just through word of mouth, essentially, I would do like kind of Facebook, just promote if I'd have like an on-ramp or like a beginner's course or something like that, just to get some new people in there, and just do like fundraisers and just kind of simple things to kind of give back to the community. And I feel like those things are really helpful in terms of getting your name out. But when it was time to move down to Portland, what I did, I basically sold all my equipment to one of the trainers I hired, a guy named Jason Morris. He purchased the equipment from me and just changed the name, and I figured that was good to go for now. So then just over about a year and a half, I decided I was ready to open a business here. I had to find the right location. And me and my girlfriend scored really well. The spot we have, like I'm in the gym right now, and we live upstairs. So we have an apartment upstairs.
Nice. I didn't realize that. That's really
it's really
cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Does that make it difficult at all? I mean, obviously the convenience factor is there. You don't have to drive to work every day. But are there any kind of challenges, or does that ever get tiresome, like being right there next to your business and always being in the same place?
It's way more good things than bad. Like, if anything, you know how if you associate home with relaxation and kind of like, rest and recovery, I need the gym to, I need to be productive and proactive when I'm in here versus like coming down here and kind of resting as well. So like having that clear separation of like home versus, work or being productive. But I feel like that's pretty easy to kind of overcome, and it's great.
Cool.
Yeah, I absolutely love it.
So you sort of talked about using your own, achievements and things as marketing for your business. And you've been in a lot of places. I've seen you and Holly on the cover of Vegan Health and Fitness magazine. You've had you're in a video series called The Strongest Hearts, which I'll link to that in the show notes. It's actually a video series that Matt Resigno produced, who I also interviewed here on this show, episode 21, I believe. Again, I'll link to that. And then you've been, featured on various websites and things. So what kind of stuff do you do specifically to kind of get your own name out there, market yourself? Like, do you, would you say that you're a self-promoter, or do a lot of these things come to you?
It's kind of a hard one. I feel like a good amount of things kind of come to me, but just what I need to do, I do need to stay active with the Plant Built team. I do need to stay active with veganbodybuilding.com. Like, I feel like these companies promote me when I promote them, so it's kind of a give situation. So I feel like that's very helpful. It's just establishing a network and kind of cross promoting one another. And I'm also sponsored by Beyond Meat as well. So I want to promote them for the products they make and the way they're revolutionizing the animal industry and kind of taking animals out of the equation for food and just like with meat replacements. So they kind of promote me and I promote them. Cool. So it's a give.
So I'm very curious about, how people kind of promote themselves and stuff. And in this day and age with social media and, so many people kind of be an entrepreneur, myself included. Is there any specific things that you can tell me that you've done in the past that has been, a direct outreach on your part that has given you some good promotion, whether that be, emailing somebody at a magazine or a website to kind of pitch yourself for an interview, or just kind of putting yourself out there of things that maybe I could take away and learn from, or our listeners could take away from?
That's a hard one. I was one of the one out of 7 sponsored athletes with veganbodybuilding.com. And essentially what we did is we had to contribute to the website with articles and videos and things like that to be promoted. And oh man, I think just my success with bodybuilding and getting like my physique to like having a 6-pack and all that, I feel like that was like really essential to just having being marketed, being appealing, because I did well in my physique competition in 2013. I feel like all those things added up to my people wanting to work with me. So, and again, Robert Cheek was very helpful in kind of getting my name out there. So I wanted to say, like, he just kind of saw in me like just the energy I put out there, and he wanted to kind of promote that. So I feel like just kind of really just trying to be successful in like what I was doing, I feel like was the major promoter.
Got it.
And just establish good relationships with people.
Cool. So sort of letting the work speak for itself, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got a lot of stuff going on. You've got the business, you've got your home life with your girlfriend and everything. You're obviously you still coach at your gym as well as kind of running the whole gym. Do you have other coaches and stuff there as well?
At the time, it's my partner Holly. She's coaching as well, and also we have one other trainer named Lacey Davis.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're essentially
kind of
the only 3
managing a few
trainers,
employees then. And then,
I'm sorry?
I said, so you're managing a few employees then at the business?
Not so much. We just have to make sure that we don't overlap our schedule.
Right.
The space can only fit about 2 trainers at a time.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the biggest thing, but
right.
everything else is pretty straightforward.
Okay. So you've got the business, you've got the girlfriend life, you've got your own training. You've got goals of your own and stuff. I assume you've got other hobbies and things you like to do. So how do you feel like you balance your life? Like what do you do that keeps a healthy balance in all the different things that you manage throughout your life?
Yeah. I feel like you have to kind of step away from it. Just every once in a while, take a couple hours to, read a book or watch a movie, just kind of decompress and kind of get out of fitness and, just get out of the business. And, we like to go hiking, and we live near Lake Merritt, which is like a 5-minute walk from here. So just going for a walk and just having some downtime to decompress, I find is really helpful for being able to maintain the balance, because because I am kind of entrenched in the fitness thing, because we have the gym here, and my partner, she's competing for powerlifting as well. So I don't know, we just basically have to get away from fitness, and she makes fun of me. I like to watch the CrossFit Games videos and stuff for fun. So I just need to get away from fitness for a while, and that seems to be really helpful in terms of keeping everything in balance.
Yeah. So as you're doing that, do you have specific kind of strategies or things that you do to manage the time, whether that be like writing out a schedule or setting aside, today I'm going to completely disconnect for X amount of hours, or we're going to, go hike? How does that look?
Yeah, and we do that more on a daily schedule, me and my partner. So obviously we schedule our workouts in, Google Calendar, just like we would for a personal training session or a group class. And also I kind of think of 8 p.m. as the fitness cutoff.
Okay.
So just everything, not watching videos, not talking about it. And from there, that's Holly and I, it's our chance to decompress and kind of, get ready to wind down.
Cool. I like that. With that said, I was actually going to ask you later on about kind of, your morning, your morning schedule. I took this question from Tim Ferriss's podcast. I really like that one. And he always asks people about their morning schedule. So I'll kind of add to that, could you explain your evening schedule? So do you have kind of a morning routine? And after your 8 o'clock cutoff, is there kind of a routine after that or anything?
Yeah, so I have a few just nutritional kind of routines that I do. So in the morning, basically I either have green tea or coffee, just a little simple caffeine to kind of get me going. And sometimes I'll skip the first meal. I normally coach at 8 a.m. So 8 to 9 I'll coach. And then I'll normally just have breakfast at 9. That's about it. I just try to make sure I don't go too long in the morning without eating. And in terms of supplements, there's none I really have in the morning, but in the evening, I'm a big fan of zinc and magnesium. So I do those at night. And if I do make a shake, which I normally do, it'll be a shake of rice and pea protein, peanut butter, ground flax seeds, and unsweetened soy milk, something like that. So I'm kind of aiming for protein, fat, and fiber essentially. So low carb, and I also add glutamine to that as well. So just looking for nutrition that's going to kind of help me recover at nighttime.
Cool. So in the morning, before you coach, besides the tea or coffee to kind of get you going, are there other things that you do kind of in the morning to get you started for the day, or do you just kind of wake up, drink some coffee, and you're straight downstairs to the gym? No,
yeah. I probably take 15 minutes just to kind of just kind of be in my own space, in quiet. And I have a puppy, or he's about 10 months old now, but a little Boston Terrier named Apollo. So I normally just hang out with him and just kind of relax and kind of get my head straight for the day and start thinking about the programming. And so I do that. I just take about 10 to 15 minutes to step away to kind of get my head straight.
Cool. So you definitely have, in the past at least, had a lot of interest in different aspects of, your own personal fitness. So, bodybuilding, powerlifting, weightlifting, CrossFit. What is your current focus right now? And kind of tell me a little bit how that shifted over, recent months or years.
Yeah. So let's see. My dad passed away last September of a heart attack at 60 years old. And he's the one who got me into fitness in the first place, right? So he helped put my first, 5-day-a-week program together, like back day and chest day and arm day, leg day, that kind of thing. And but his thing was always powerlifting, like just being strong. And I've grown up being around him, and I have a bigger brother who was like a football sized guy, really big dude. So I was always around big guys and always wanted to be strong and just kind of represent that well. And with bodybuilding, it was cool. And my dad he was in New York, and we'd talk on the phone and stuff. And he was proud of what I was doing. And CrossFit was a lot of fun. And I'm still definitely into CrossFit. But in 2014 was the last CrossFit competition I did in Austin with the Plant Build team. Mm-hmm. And I felt like strength was my limiting factor. So the first workout, I'll just share this really quick. The first workout was like 3 rounds per time with an axle bar, just 135 pound squat clean to thruster, and like 10 jumps over the bar. But it was a squat clean to thruster for 10 reps at 135, and that kicked my butt. And I felt like that shouldn't have, right? So what I wanted to do, again, my dad passed away in September, and I've always wanted to bench 315. I've always wanted to deadlift more, and I've always wanted to squat more. So my goal is to get my bench up to 315, my squat up to 405, and my deadlift up to 500. So that happened in September. Come January, like after that happened, I was in New York and all this stuff and just kind of dealing with a lot of things. And definitely I needed some time to kind of get out of fitness totally. And when January came around, I was ready to focus on getting to my strength goals that I've had for a long time. So I'm basically all the year of 2015, I've been working on powerlifting. And right now my bench is at 275 for 5 reps. Bench or deadlift is at 450 for 5, and my squat's at 350 for 5. And I'm using a simple program that my dad gave me a couple months before he died, of just working up percentages until, basically you keep lifting until you can get the 90% at 5 reps. And once you go there, you just simply increase 5 pounds.
Nice. And
I've gone up, let's see, my deadlift was 5 reps was about 390. So my 5 rep max has gone up about 60 pounds.
Wow.
Squat was about 280. So that's up to 350. So up about 70 pounds. So,
and that's just since the beginning of this year?
It's been working. Yeah. Just being consistent. And over the course of 7 months, I've been able to put on that strength.
Wow. That's great, man.
And, I'm actually going to test my 1 reps next week to kind of see where I'm at, because it's been quite a while.
Yeah. Awesome. That's exciting.
See if there. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to keep me posted on how you do.
Yeah. It'll be on Instagram for sure.
Nice. So when I met up with you at the CrossFit Games a couple weeks ago, you mentioned to me that right now you're kind of purposely trying to get fat, is I think the way you worded it. And you had some ideas in mind of kind of documenting a process. Can you kind of retell me about that and elaborate and tell our listeners what's going on?
Yeah. So with getting stronger, a lot of people don't get stronger because they're worried about gaining weight. They're worried about gaining fat. So what happens is they never get better. They never get stronger. So what I'm doing is, because I want to commit to my strength goal, and I'm letting go of the aesthetic thing for this whole year, which I'm not used to, but I'm doing it. So I'm purposely getting fatter, and I figure that works in line with my powerlifting goals. I started about 175 and I weigh about 207 right now. So, up about 32 pounds from then. And so once I hit my powerlifting goals, I plan on getting there by about November this year. Then I want to document 3 months worth of me cutting fat and keeping strength, and showing people exactly how I do it.
Awesome.
So I plan on I want to make most likely a video project of that, and kind of show people exactly what I eat, exactly what I do for workouts and supplements, and go from there.
Cool. So with this kind of documentation process, do you have ideas in mind of kind of how to package that? Like, do you have, sponsors in mind that you want to, pay a video producer to kind of make a set number series, or is it kind of still up in the air right now?
It's still kind of in the early stages right now. Essentially what I want to do is, Monday through Friday, the documentation of like daily posts on like video and just like nutrition and all the components of it. But in terms of the actual execution of the project, no, I don't have any of that stuff kind of figured out yet.
Okay, cool. So right now you said you weigh 207. Is that the most you've ever weighed?
Yeah.
And how is Holly dealing with the weight gain and the aesthetic changes?
She says she's a fan. She thinks she likes me better when I'm heavier.
Okay.
So she's being as supportive as I can imagine.
Cool. All right. So,
I'm the one who tends to like being like, the shredded and
Right.
6-pack and all that stuff. So
right. Have you seen anybody lately that you haven't seen in 8 months or so, and them commented about your changes?
Yeah. Because I coach 2 days a week at a gym in Berkeley, a CrossFit gym in Berkeley, and some of the members, they may not see me because they come in on different days, and they're like, "Whoa, you've got a little bigger."
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, I've got some comments for sure.
Yeah. So we're gonna start wrapping up with the section that I call quick hits, and these are 4 or 5 questions that I typically ask all of my guests, and I think it's just really fascinating to see kind of a good sample of how different people answer the same set of questions. Some of them we've kind of already touched on a little bit, actually. But the first question is, how do you decompress? And I know we touched on that a little bit, but maybe if you can elaborate a little bit more, that'd be great.
All right. How do I get my protein?
No. How do you decompress?
How do I decompress? Okay. I decompress by, just trying to get lights down and just kind of stepping away, turning off the TV, or we don't have a TV, but turning off the computer, turning off the phone, and just kind of getting away from all media, I'd say.
Cool. So I'm a stickler for the details. So you said lights down and no TV. So I'm curious, do you like dim the lights in your house, or?
We have like the big overhead lights. We turn all those off and have like the little lamps in the corner.
Okay.
That kind of thing, and just hang out with we have 2 dogs as well, so we just hang out with the dogs and just try to have some quiet time.
Nice. And have you had no TV for a long time, or is that a new thing that you've gotten rid of a TV?
No, we pretty much, if we watch anything, we'll watch like Netflix and stuff on Xfinity, just like videos on the computer. So we'll watch TV shows on Sons of Anarchy and stuff like that on the computer, but that's about it. I haven't had cable since, I don't know, like 15 years or so.
Okay, interesting. So here's a good question for you. If there was a movie made about your life, what would be the obstacle that you had to overcome throughout your life to achieve your success or to get to where you are today?
What would be the obstacle to overcome?
Yeah, like a movie, they kind of have the pinnacle point where a big thing happens,
Yeah, I'd say it would just be overcoming lack of confidence. Just the ability to see, to recognize that we can be anything we want to be, and recognize we have the potential to be great. So, and I really had a hard time dealing with feeling average and just feeling kind of like in the background. Like I didn't stick out. I felt just average in every way. And so I think all it was just like just having commitment to a goal and just driving towards that and seeing what happens. You may fail, you may succeed, you don't know, but you have to try. And basically I got a little taste of success, and that it gave me more confidence. And then I got another taste of success and got more confidence, and it just kind of builds off of that. So I'd say that's it.
Yeah, interesting. I've gotten similar answers from a lot of people, and I'm always a little bit surprised that these answers keep coming up where people say that their biggest obstacle in life has been themselves and kind of overcoming their internal struggles. And I really, every time it comes up, I'm like, damn, another one said the same kind of thing. And I think that's super interesting. And I'm wondering, at what point in your life did you kind of realize that you had this limitation? And was there, you said you got some success and that's what helped you kind of overcome it. What was that first little bit of success? Or was there a turning point where something clicked in your head that you realized that you could, set goals and do other things? Or tell me how that switch kind of happened.
It was kind of looking at the current fitness industry and just kind of seeing who was out there and what people were doing. And I felt like I didn't have it before, but just when I got a little older, I just felt like I felt like I can look as muscular as the guys out there. And it was just about once I recognized that, I just went for it. But in terms of like that switch, I guess that was like it just kind of happened pretty naturally. It wasn't like a specific time or moment, but it just kind of over time, I just realized that I did like the success I had just on my own. And once I took it seriously, I got a six pack for the first time at 28 years old. I never thought I can do that, but once I got that, I was like, okay, if I can do this, like I'm going to take it on stage. So I think it just starts by you just got to believe in it and go for it.
Cool. Have you had any mentors throughout your life?
My dad. That's pretty much it. And again, that belief that I could be anything I wanted to be. I mean, that started at an early age, but again, I felt like I was getting in the way myself by just having like that struggle of overcoming feeling average. And no, just him being a success in his own life and being strong. And he was an entrepreneur. He was a contractor. He would build houses, and he basically owned buildings and would rent out apartments. He bought a hotel in North Carolina and just had a lot of success with that. And he was just really successful in real estate. And I was just really impressed by him, and I'm just always looked up to him. So I'd say he was my biggest influence always.
Cool. And so you've mentioned being anything you want to be in your life, and I feel like I've mentioned this on another podcast episode, but I feel like in our culture, people say that phrase a lot, and maybe like teachers and parents tell people that. But so few people really understand what it means. And the people telling kids that and telling young children that, I feel like they don't quite understand what it means, because a lot of times it's coming from, a teacher, let's say, and obviously I have a lot of respect for teachers, but let's say a teacher that, grew up in a small town and their life path was go to school, go to college, get a job, repeat the process, and teach other people to repeat the process, as opposed to somebody like yourself who had your dad sort of telling you that, and you had a better example of what that might look like, of you can be whatever you want. Like, you don't have to work a 9-to-5 job, and you can structure your life differently than other people do. And I think it's really powerful for people to see kind of those good examples of how you can structure your life and design your life differently and stuff. So I think that's really cool that you not only were told that, but you were shown that through your life.
Yeah.
When do you feel like you get hit by inspiration or ideas the most?
Where do I get ideas and inspiration from?
When do you feel like you get hit by the ideas? Is there a certain place or time or mindset that you're in when you get these ideas or inspiration, whether that be in business or with your fitness or anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of get it by I listen to other podcasts and just various kind of video journals and things like that, but just kind of seeing what other people are doing. And I just get inspired by seeing other successful businesses or other successful powerlifters or other successful CrossFitters. And just all those things I try to take in components of the lifestyle that they're living in order to get the results they were getting.
Can you list off a couple of your favorite podcasts or videos or anything like that?
Yeah, I like Barbell Shrugged a bunch. I like a lot of the people they kind of interview. Athlete I like a lot. I like Neil Maddox and Matt Chan and Elizabeth Akinwale, the 35 to 36-year-olds, because I'm 36. So that's kind of my athlete. Those are my athletes to follow. So I feel like whatever those guys are doing, I feel like that's more in line with what I can do. So I find a lot of inspiration from those guys.
Cool.
Besides that, I don't know. It's kind of like always interesting seeing what the vegan athletes are doing out there. So it's like Derek Treesize and Tori Washington. And then so some of the powerlifters I follow are like Chad Smith, Brandon Lilly, Dan Green, just a bunch of just monster athletes out there doing like really big things. So.
You mentioned Barbell Shrugged, which I think is a really good podcast as well. Have you listened to their Barbell Business show as well?
A little bit, not too much.
Yeah, I feel like those guys have a really good grasp on not only the fitness industry and, the business behind the industry, but also their mindset as well-rounded people and entrepreneurs and stuff,
Yeah.
I'll link to that in the show notes for anybody that wants to check that out as well. Barbell Shrugged and Barbell Business podcast. So we'll end with one final question that I ask everybody. Do you have a favorite quote or maybe a favorite piece of advice that anyone has ever given you?
I know that the Gandhi quote's it's a little bit chopped up, but the, be the change you want to see in the world, I think it's really big. And I don't know, even the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I mean, that's super simple, but I think that really goes far.
Awesome. Great, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time for me today. Please tell people where they can find out more about you or any of the companies you're affiliated with, and just plug away and tell people what they should check out.
All right. My website is plantfitstrength.com, so you can kind of keep up with what I'm doing and how the gym's going in Oakland as well. PlantFit XVX on Instagram. My partner, Holly Knoll, she has a protein waffle company called Fit Quick. So I think that's fitquick.com, and it's high carb, low protein, soy free, gluten free, vegan high protein waffles. So that's really cool. Her and Lacey Davis are doing the Rise and Resist podcast as well. So that's really cool to kind of see their perspective on fitness and being women inside this industry. So that's really cool. Let's see, plantbuilt.com, beyondmeat.com, and I think that's probably about it for now.
Cool. Well, my social networks, if you guys want to keep up with me and my personal journey, can all be found at just Fat Tony BMX. So that is fattonybmx.com. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of them just at Fat Tony BMX. Also, you guys can check out theexpansionprojectpodcast.com for all the show notes and support links on for this episode specifically. And also on the right side of the page at theexpansionprojectpodcast.com, there are some affiliate links. And again, if you guys click on those and buy stuff, it's going to help out the show. Once again, 20% off of NutraSumma products at nutrasumma.com by using the promo code FatTony1. And of course, a big shout out to my new exciting project, breakparallel.com. Again, this is an aggregate blog that's going to just house all of the cool functional fitness content out there on the web. So if you guys want to see hot fit chicks in a gallery, we've got that. If you wanted some random fitspiration, we've got cool photo galleries and all the videos that people are putting out there. So when Ed drops his video later on this year about his transformation from going to a fat powerlifter to back to a shredded bodybuilder, we'll host that on there as well. So definitely bookmark that and check out breakparallel.com. So until next time, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will catch you later.